Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host from Walden. I just love being on there, and I want to thank all our supporters. And before we jump into our show, I want to just tell everybody Mother's Justice Show, Mother's Justice Breakfast is this coming Thursday, November 11th, 7 a.m. at the Royal Esquire Club down on Rainier Avenue. And it's 5016 Rainier Avenue South. And for tickets, you can call 253-237-2013. Again, that's 253-237-2013. We're excited. It's our Thurgood Marshall breakfast. And Attorney Ed Galando is going to be our Attorney of the Year. It was the first award we've given under Mother's Justice Breakfast. We retired the Paul Robeson event back in 2014, and then we started we started then later on with the Mother's Justice Breakfast. So anyway, come and have breakfast with us. Come and listen to our keynote speaker. Will be a retired Judge Judy Hightower. So come out and be inspired, because we might need some inspiration after. We'll know by Wednesday what's going on. So we'll never be defeated, because we don't wear that kind of jacket. So Mr. Raj should be on here really soon. We're going to be talking about voter suppression. Also, Ms. Frances Oliver down in Florida will come on about voter suppression. And I got an article from Jacksonville. The city drew the lines the same way almost, so that might be going back to the federal judge about voter suppression there in Jacksonville. Also, some information about Atlanta and Arizona. So anyway, we'll just wait here for Mr. Rath, and hopefully he's coming on really soon. Also, the other thing we want to talk about sometime just today and almost every time is creating a culture of peace. Our children have not known any peace. If you had a child born in 1990, well, we did. We gave birth to Mothers Against Police Harassment, and then changed the name to Mothers for Police Accountability. So we've seen this child grow up. Because as mothers, what we do is, and we know we have babies, or we produce and we create, and that's and so. If this child was born in 2000, in 1990, that child would have grown up not knowing peace, and there's violence in every community, almost every community, and then also it's violence in the schools and on the streets of America. It's one of the only countries in the world where people kill people just because they're bored, and children deserve to have a peaceful day. They deserve not to have to be worried about somebody trying to kill them. And I think it's a sad commentary on America. The Maasai tribe in Kenya, and I think it's also in Uganda. One of their greetings is when they meet someone, they say, "How are the children?" And the greeting is supposed to be that the children are well. And so if someone asks us, how are the children, not your individual child, but how are the children? Children means plural. So how are the children in America doing? And they're not doing well. They're not well. A lot of them are being indoctrinated with hate, and the other is indoctrinated with fear. And so fear and hate is a bad combination for children to grow up in. So we've been talking about that, because it's our responsibility to create a culture of peace for the children. It really is. It is our responsibility to do that. And also, I want to get people to know that on tomorrow at the City Council at 9:30, it's a public hearing. It's about the budget. And Mothers for Police Accountability supports the Shot Spotter. A lot of people don't. A lot of the liberals who don't live in our community, and they have some black people too. And some of the immigrants who might not know our whole story, got to America. They came for freedom and they came for safety. We have known neither. We've still been working on that. And some of them come and, get in front of the Native Americans and us. I mean, and that's how the system is designed. The system is designed so Native Americans and the Negroes will not get a real secure footing in America, because every few years something happens and then we lose whatever wealth we have and something else happens. But everybody else can come. And we're not trying to have a fight with that. We're just saying, hey, it's our community. These are our children. We are the descendants of the enslaved human beings. We're the people who built America, and we demand safety. They say, oh, you don't live in our community. And you know what they might do with their kids who've given them trouble? They can send them to a dude ranch in Montana, or they can send them someplace else and they come back and, and even ones who might be involved with, might have substance abuse, they have resources they can send their kids to a lot of other places that we don't have. So, and they can go hire some Black people, but they might not live in Seattle. People go find Black people. They found Herschel Walker. So if they found Herschel Walker, they can find anybody. So, we're not afraid on that. So one thing about it is that we know how to organize for the long haul, just like they do. I mean, we come, Mr. Ryan, we came out of segregation. So we don't just pick up our marbles and go home. We don't get tired because we didn't win. We just keep going. So anyway, let's take a break here and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. Let's see if we can see what Mr. Ryan is doing. We'll be right back.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Hi, this is Dr. K. Mahina Intron, inviting you to tune in on Mondays on 1150 KKNW at 5 p.m. to Dr. K's Attuning to Your Abundance, where we honor everyday abundance through positive messages, poetry, music, affirmations, and writing exercises. For more information, contact Dr. K Workshops at gmail.com or Facebook, Dr. K's Abundance.
Don't let that herd mentality lead you off a cliff. We support thinking for yourself on Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on there. And Mama said it would be days like this. Eric is so good. He's my studio manager and take care of me. When I don't send a list in, he's absolutely has an eagle eye for this. He just gets it right. So thank you. Mama said there'd be days like this. We got a lot of days like this because we don't know what's coming. Make sure you get your votes, get your ballots in, people. Washington State has one of the most secure systems in the world. So don't let these people intimidate you. Remember that they intimidated Black people all the time. They intimidated us so we couldn't register, not so we couldn't vote. We didn't get to vote until 1965. So, and then it was still intimidation going on. Medgar Evans lost his life trying to register people. Then there was a couple in Florida. You can read that book, The Devil in the Grove. Their house got firebombed on Christmas Eve. And that book also has some information about Sanford, Florida, where I'm from, because the Black doctor, Dr. Starks, his name is in that book. So anyway, so everybody now gets to see what voter intimidation is. Or before it was only for the Negroes, because you couldn't vote. Although we should have been able to vote, we was not able to vote. What is so important about the vote in America? What is it so important about the vote that people don't want you to vote? Well, because it gives you ownership. I mean, you have a right. I mean, this is so-called a democracy, a republic, or one thing about this system that everybody has two representatives and one senator on the state level, and also on the national level. And so And so if you're voting, you have a right to that senator, those people have a right to be responsive to your needs. And so when you cut out of that, then you don't have nobody else to go and talk to. I mean, but collecting your taxes. I mean, a good example of how they collected our taxes is they took the taxes that was there for the Department of HUD. HUD was providing housing for the poor. I mean, LBJ started that. Public housing started that. Some of it started after World War II, but how public housing and what Clinton did is that they brought in Hope 6, and all of the public housing was suddenly going to be market. It's going to be mixed rate income, but you had to have income to qualify, and so poor people that might not have had very much income found themselves without housing. And what they've done is that they've given the property that the taxpayers have paid for in America to developers. Here in Seattle, the same thing happened with New Holland, Arena Vista, High Point in West Seattle. And we fought that. We fought that because we knew that they were going to come back with less housing. And so a lot of the African Americans did not get housing there. A lot of the immigrants did. And so once again, a lot of things happened, and we were locked out of that. And so you'll find very few African Americans living in Holly Park, New Holland, Raina Vista, and West Seattle High Point. And in my hometown, they went in and they tore all this part. They tore all the housing down. Chicago, and also in Detroit, and the land is going to developers. And we wonder why we have a problem with poor people not having housing, because there's no way for them to have housing. And so the burden right now is on all of the cities, but before the federal government helped with that, that was our tax dollars that did not come back to us. Well, we paid for it, and then it got, again, it's always giving everything to the developers. And that's what Seattle is now. Seattle is a town where you have a lot of cornflake boxes, buildings that look like cornflake boxes with windows in them. Nothing, it's no Frank Lloyd Wrights here. There's no fantastic buildings going up that's going to look like something in 40 years that people would want to save. So anyway, that's just an example of how the little people, or the so-called middle class people, get robbed, and all of the money is at the top, and it still did not trickle down. And so if that trickled down, we wouldn't have so many people out without having homes right now. So, but anyway, that's a little piece of history. I'm a history scholar. I'm a closet scholar. You don't have to have a PhD to be a scholar. You just be somebody who study all the time. And all the people who know me know I like to study. I'm always studying something new. That's how life keeps interesting to me. I just love to study. And so I pass it on to some of my grandkids. They got it. I love that. Let me give you another announcement here about mothers. Put another plug for mothers. This is the Mother's Justice Show, but also Mother's Justice. Mothers is having the Mother's Justice Thurgood Marshall breakfast on November 10th, 7 a.m. I know it's an ungodly hour. Forgive me for that. Next time it'll be back to 7:30. And the address is going to be at the Royal. It's going to be at the Royal Esquire Club, and the address is 5016 Rainier Avenue South. Remember, it's 7 a.m. And the telephone number is 253-237-2013. Again, it's 253-237-2013, and you can get tickets information for that. And it's also on our website, Mothers, for policeaccountability.org. You can find that information there. And it's a lot of sadness in the community because Devon Pickett, a young man, a father, a husband, a business entrepreneur, young man, just 31 years old or 32, was murdered in front of his wife. So it's a lot of trauma. He's so well liked. I mean, his funeral, his memorial is going to be on the 10th also at the Climate Arena. I think that's the new name for it, at the Seattle Center. I don't know what time that's going to be, But I know it's going to be a lot of people there. That's why it's there. And I know some of maybe the official for public, maybe some of the elected officials might have helped with that. I don't know, but there's a lot of fundraising going because they own the Postman, and that's a place. It's like a substation for the post office, and people can get their mail there, and they sell stamps and packaging now, and so the business is closed. So the community need to step up, and I think I heard that Molly Moon is having a fundraiser, so it's going to be money there that's going. That will go to the family to be able to support the family. And he had 3 little kids. His oldest is 7, and he had just got himself appointed as coach over that age group for the CD Panthers. It's a lot of sadness. That's why we have to create a culture of peace. It's too much sadness. The children have a right to grow up without knowing sorrow this way. Now, my mother died when I was 2 years old. She was sick and she died. I don't remember her. So you're not going to escape sorrow. You're not going to escape the fact that your grandparents might pass away. Or even one of your classmates might have leukemia and pass away. And that's also a sorrow. But to have people gunned down is it hits the body. It hits you different in the sorrow category. And to see all these mothers crying, we can do better than this. We didn't come out of slavery this way. And if anybody tell you that this has been going on ever since after slavery, they're a liar. I mean, because coming out of slavery in North Carolina, South Carolina, you had armed militias, black militia. They were armed to be able to protect their family. When Andrew Jackson took over and he got rid of everything, got rid of the 10 years of Reconstruction, then I took up those arms. And that's when the beginning of continuation. That's when the Ku Klux Klan was born. The Ku Klux Klan was born after they've taken up all the arms from the black people there, right after slavery, right after Reconstruction ended. So we have not always been this way. We have not always had violence in our community. I was raised in the community. Ms. Francis will be on later on. She can absolutely contend that we did not grow up in violence. We was not worried about somebody coming into to the schools. But I did hear from her that the superintendent of the Sunday school at Atlanta Chapel AME, where I went to Sunday school at with Miss Francis, that the superintendent did have a gun. And I didn't know that. He was ready. He was loaded. He was ready. And the gun was loaded in case anybody came into church to try to harm the children. And we do know about the churches. I mean, with the Birmingham, Alabama, the 12th Street, I think 16th Street Baptist Church there. And then we saw in recent times the Mother Emanuel Church there in Charleston, South Carolina. So we've lived with this before. But this is not who we are. And we have to always establish the fact that, when you put in black men, thugs come up. That's not true. The thugs are running. The thugs are the people who are trying to take away from everybody else right now. That's who the thugs are. The thugs are the people with actually some of the people that actually are billionaires right now. Not all of them, but there's some of them trying to take the freedoms of other people and to make sure that we don't have a so-called democracy, because they'll help in that side that want to make sure that we're all restricted. And the people who wrap themselves up in the Bible and say that they're Christians, they're not even living in the tenets of Christianity. But and they're looking to be raptured out. Now, can you tell me what God is going to come and rapture out people who took their babies from people from the mothers at the border? I mean, and took all the land from Native Americans, and 18 million people were killed, and enslaved a whole group of people, and moved them from their continent, from their home, and then they looking to be raptured? I don't think so. I said they're going to just leave the world just like my oldest boy. He laid down and, he took his last breath, and now his mother was there. So there's some real misunderstanding about the gospel. And people are wrapping themselves called Christian nationalists. Well, I mean, God was not a nationalist. Created too many people. Created too many different kinds of people. I mean, it's a rose garden. I mean, it's daffodils and all the different colors. I mean, the Creator is a wise infinite ability to create something that was so vast that is hard for man to understand the vastness of it, and to realize that it's infinite. You can't put it in a bottle. You can't just peddle it like that. Our love is really the only thing that lasts, and it lasts forever. All this hatred that's going around right now, no, it does not have a lasting. It have a shelf life. It have an ending. It have an ending, because what lasts is love. That's why Christianity has lasted so long until it got hijacked. It lasted so long in the first 3 centuries because people were healers. They were healing people. It was a healing religion. And then it got co-opted by the Catholic Church. It got co-opted by Rome because they moved that mighty religion from the African continent. There was no Mideast then. Some people talk about the Mideast. It was not there. There was no Suez Canal. It was all African. It was Northeast Africa or whatever, but it was Africa. It was nothing else but the Africans. The Africans was involved with that. So again, Mother's Justice Show. This is Mother's Justice Show, but Mother's Justice Breakfast. You know, everybody loves breakfast, right? You know, breakfast was created over 100 years ago, because before that, people wasn't eating breakfast. The farmers and people got together and said we needed to have breakfast, and they needed to sell their products. So what? We're still having breakfast. So come out and have breakfast with us, and come out to the Royal Esquire Club on 5016 Rainier Avenue South, 7 a.m. And forgive me, next time it'll be back to 7:30. And the telephone number for tickets is 253-237-2013. So join me tomorrow morning at the City Council. Be there to sign up. It's a public hearing. It's about the budget. And the mayor has a little something in the budget. It is going to be part of all overall safety plan, but it's called the Shot Spotter. That's what let the police know where the shots are coming from immediately. And there's people out against it, because people don't care about public safety for Black people. And they've got some other Black people who don't. I mean, it's like, okay, as long as they care about when the police harm us, that's rightfully so. But almost 50 people have been killed this year. Police didn't kill those people. Police didn't kill 50 people. You know, I mean, 50 people have been killed so far in King County. I mean, it's like the Seattle proper, but I don't know how many it is in King County. Are we all right with that? Can we stand up to these people who tell us what we need? They don't know what we need. They don't know. They don't even know our story, and they don't care. I mean, really and truly. Look what they did to the city. I mean, look what some of the same council members did when they talked all this talk about defunding the police department, pulled it apart because they didn't understand how it worked. There was nobody on there. Now, Lisa Herbo was on there longer than anybody else because she was with Nick Nakata. She should have known how things work together. Okay, pull things apart. So you got all of this and all of that out there. I mean, the 911 call center was at the police department for a reason. Okay, and but the traffic, they started to be able traffic. Well, they're not cops, but the traffic directors and the people who go out and direct the traffic and write tickets and all of that, they were SPD for a reason, because they would know of a stolen car. I mean, but see, when you move things apart, then you have to get all these memorandums of understanding. They get all this other confusion. I mean, so these are the people who messed up the city. And now they don't want us to do anything for our own community. Isn't that amazing? I mean, because some of the city council people are actually out there organizing. They organize in the community in a different way to come against the Shot Spotter. Ain't that amazing? I mean, Teresa Mosqueda, she's citywide. She's never brought anything to the Black community. Never brought anything to the Black community. But she talks about the unions, but she didn't create not one union job. Okay? Didn't bring us anything. And now they're going to tell us what they don't think that we need. Isn't that just amazing? But we have to stand up. So the city council hearing is tomorrow on the budget, and that's one of the items in the budget. You need to come in person, or you could be on the Zoom. I mean, you could be on the phone. I'm going in person. I'm going to be there early to sign up. And I know Sawant and all that people are going to be there. And they come in with the talking points, okay? They have a talking point system. and they're going to come in and everybody's going to say the same thing. They just like the Trumpers. No difference. All the Trumpers people say the same thing. The election was stolen and it was rigged and all of that. So these people are going to come in and they're going to say the same thing, but they've never sat with a mother. They've never been with a mother who's been grieving, and her grief is so hard that she cannot be consoled. They've never done that. When you sat with a mother, a grieving mother, who might not, who next time she'll see her child is at the funeral, was not made, probably wasn't with her. A lot of people was not with this loved one when they passed away. Some of them died en route to the hospital. That meant they went straight to the morgue. And so they never will see. I mean, so that much of sadness, and they're going to tell us about what we need. They ought to just stand down. We don't need their help. I mean, we the people who helped build America, and everything we got coming out of slavery, nobody gave us that. So to act like we're not qualified to know what we need in our community, then you just stop it. Well, we're going to take a break right now because we should have another guest coming on. I don't know with Mr. Rye. I think he must have died. He had something else to come up because he was going to be talking about voter suppression. So anyway, we will take a break, come right back. This is Reverend Walden, 1150 AM KKNW, Mother's Justice Show. We'll be right back.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on air. Thank you, Eric, for that song. I am a proud grandmother, and I love that song. Thank you so much for that. I want to bring on another grandmother, might even be a great grandmother, so I'll let her tell me that, correct me if she can. I'm going to bring on Miss Frances all the way down in Sanford, Florida, because she's a regular on the show. We grew up together in Sanford, Florida, in Goldsboro. We like to call it Goldsboro. How you doing, Miss? How you doing, Frances?
Oh, Harriet, I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling fine. It's just a dreary day. We're expecting another storm, and they're already saying that by the time it hit the Florida coast, it will be a Category 1 hurricane.
Oh,
and it's so big, it's going to cover the whole state.
That's the sentence. He's trying to send a hurricane so people won't go vote. Listen, you know.
Well, I tell you one thing, here in Seminole County, early voting was one of the highest early votings we've had. And basically, people of color go vote early.
Oh, yeah. I hope some black folks was in that people of color. I mean, because yes. that's a word that usually means something everybody else but us. So
yes, well, the early voting turnout was good. We had souls to the polls yesterday. I heard it was good, okay. And so we don't know. Tuesday the storm supposed to really hit around Wednesday, but the rain has already started. We are raining right now.
Yeah, because when I called you, when we talked earlier, and I said, well, Frances, I said, isn't the hurricane season over? Because I thought when we used to grow up, it was from May 1st to November 1st, but you informed me it's till November, to the end of November.
Yeah, till about the end of November. Uh-huh.
Okay, because I thought the waters was getting too cool.
But we haven't had a storm this late in a long time.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, yes.
We haven't had a November storm in a long time.
Well, no, that's the sentence. Hey, I'm just teasing because we know that he's not the creator. He might be the creator of Mistress, but mischief and all of that other stuff. We can't give him that. We can't give him that much power. So yeah, I was calling because I wanted to talk a little about. I'm gonna build me a house down there because Francis is gonna get me some property. I'm just teasing, but we were going to talk a little bit about voter suppression, but look like Seminole County folks are showing up. We said the early voting was
showing up. They're showing up, but I hope it's enough of them showing up to make a difference. And I'm hoping that the polling is a little bit off. I think the polling is a little bit off. Harriet, do you remember when Obama first time running for president, and they had him so far behind Hillary Clinton, and she was going to win? The polls had her so far out there, and the night the votes came in, Obama beat her by a landslide.
Right.
And I'm hoping that's what's happening this time. I'm hoping that Ron DeSantis is not as close as they say he is. And I'm hoping that Mark Rubio, senator, is not as close as he is. I'm hoping Val Demings is closer to Rubio than they say she is. Right now, they got her trailing him by 2 figures.
Well, one thing I know that these people do, because it's all propaganda, and they always, the one with the loudest propaganda is the one who wants to discourage you so you can stay home. And so when they give the polls, when they give you the polling, it's to discourage the Democrats or the people who might be voting that way, because let them know, well, your people, it's no chance. You might as well stay home. See, it's all a game, Francis.
And Harry, did you know they actually buy that stuff? One of the ladies go to my church, she and her husband last week they told me, well, I might as well not go vote for DeSantis, for Charlie Crist, because DeSantis don't want anyway. I said, what do you mean DeSantis? Well, the poll said DeSantis is way out ahead of Crist and not a chance for Crist to win. I said, don't you believe that junk? You get your butt to the poll.
No. But and that's the education piece, because no matter how this comes out, we got to do a better job of educating Black people. I mean, we got to do a better job on why it's important for them to vote, number one, and the legacy of voting. I mean, because, I was just trying to remember the name of the family that got killed on that. The house got blown up on Christmas Eve there in Florida, trying to register people to vote.
Harriett T. Moore.
That's right. And because it's in the book about the devil in the grove. And we read that.
Devil in the Grove.
The Devil in the Grove. He died, and then his wife lived a little longer, I believe, and then she died also.
She died 3 days later.
That's right. And they came to Seminole County. In the book, they talk about Dr. Stark. And
yes, Dr. Stark. Well, what it was, Mims is about 30 miles from Sanford, and Mims is in the county that Mims in. That's where he lived in Mims. They didn't have a Black doctor, and none of the white doctors in the white hospital wouldn't treat him. So they had to bring him all the way to Sanford, and his wife all the way to Sanford. And Dr. Starks treated him down in the Sanford hospital.
Right. But he needed blood, and was no blood, something like that. But you know the story more than me, because you're the historian. We read the book in our book club.
Yeah.
But again,
he died in the hospital,
but
his wife did live 3 days after he died.
But see, this was just to register people to vote. So the intimidations now that Caucasians and other people are seeing at the polls, this is an intimidation that our people have lived with since the 30s.
What about the Ocoee massacre right there in Orange County on the other side of Orlando? They celebrated their history yesterday, and because a Black man voted, they hung him right there in Ocoee, and they ran and killed everybody in Ocoee and ran all the Black people out of Ocoee.
Well, what is Ocoee?
It's called the Ocoee massacre. Look it up.
Okay, but what part of Orange County was that in? And you said Orange County, Orlando?
Yes, on the other side of Orlando.
On the other side of Orlando. Okay, so
it's
not
in Orange County, but it's on the other side. It's not in the city limits of Orlando. It's on the outskirts of Orlando.
Outside.
In unincorporated Orlando.
So look at all the people who died just trying to register, and this man died because he voted, and then they killed everybody. So what is it about the precious thing of the vote that these Southerners and other white people don't want Black people to vote and other people to vote? What is that?
Right.
What is that mystique around voting that they don't want anybody but white people to vote?
Because voting takes away their control.
Okay.
And as long as that's Trump's problem. That's why he's buying up in West Florida and some of the other places, like in Georgia. He has bought all the supervisor of elections so that they could turn the voting in his way and his followers' way, his people, like what they're doing with Herschel Walker. and people like this, they're getting people that's not even qualified, don't know nothing about politics. Are they getting people that hit ball, run balls, so that when he gets ready to run for president, he'll already know that those supervisory elections are going to switch those votes in his favor.
But also people don't understand that they want a theocracy. They don't want a democracy. They want Trump for life, like Putin and like the guy in Turkey, and also in China. I mean, that's what they're voting for. They're voting for a theocracy to follow a man and to spread the Constitution.
That's right. A bunch of fascists.
Well, yeah, but so this is fascism, and most of these national corporations, a lot of these corporations where these people spend their money at, they support Trump. They putting money in the GOP.
Yeah, they supporting Trump because they want the control that Trump can give them. See,
that's right.
They don't want to pay. Right. They don't want to pay. They want to pay minimum wages and below wages. They want to send
no insurance.
That's right. And send all the black men to prison under the 13th Amendment where they can work them as slaves.
Right. That's right. And so we have to teach black people that since integration, every penny that we spend almost wind up in the hands of people who don't like us.
That's
and
right.
They use that money to organize against us, see?
That's right. And organize with people like Donald Trump.
That's right. That's right, because they've been waiting on him. I mean, they took him 40 years. But Francis, what we used to do, and you're a historian. I just study history, but you're a historian. Up until affirmative action, black people was organizing all the time. And after affirmative action and black people got some good jobs, they stopped organizing. And then that's when the evangelicals started, because the GOP went to them and said and gave them hot button issues to organize on. And the hot button issues was really about abortion, gay people, and things that did not put bread and butter on the table. And so they've been organizing all the time. We stopped organizing.
Exactly. And now they have the Supreme Court where they can get rid of affirmative action.
Oh yeah. But affirmative action came from Nixon. I mean, and Art Fletcher, Nixon put to the teeth.
But what we didn't know, they did the affirmative action, telling us it was going to work in our favor, but it worked in their favor.
They put the white woman on. They put the white woman on after they put the teeth in it, because Art Fletcher was from the state of Washington. He was appointed by Nixon. And they put the teeth in it to make it, and that's when the white woman was added, see, to make sure that we never got the full effect of it.
That's right. And the black man, what they did with him, they put him in a corporate office, gave him a corporate office upstairs, gave him a white woman, and see, affirmative action was supposed to be, we put you up there, you reach down and pull another one up, he reached down and pulled two more up, until we are equal, as far as the economy is concerned. But no, when they put that black man up there and gave him a white woman as a wife, he closed the door, and he didn't bring out another black man up there with him. Clarence Thomas is a good example of it. They had made it. They got that white woman. They got their job. So they're not thinking about you as another black person, because number one, they don't consider themselves black anymore.
And that's when we stop organizing. So we got a lot to teach. We got a lot. See, they took a page out of us. These people was not organizing unless they were union people trying to organize for better wages, and there wasn't hardly no unions in the South. But they were not organizing. They took a page from us. Because we've been organizing ever since the late 1800s. We've been organizing. We organized and had slave revolts.
Harriett Tubman was one of the best organizers you have ever met. What's her name? The bus lady. What her name? Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks.
Ida B. Wells. You see what I'm saying? Ida B. Wells. Rosa Parks. Frederick Douglass.
Yeah. Well, I know that
They
I
were
just
not
got to
used by the white man like Booker T. Washington and some of the rest of them were used by the white man to keep
Well, no,
the
but Booker
black man.
T really had it right. Booker T, the talented Booker T said you need to be able to do things with your hand. I was on the campus. My granddaughter's on that campus. It's still a private campus. It's on that campus, Booker T is alive, man. I've never seen so many smart kids on that campus. It's like, wow. I was there in May. My granddaughter's in the veterinarian program there. And so he had it right. I mean, it's by doing something with your hand. People who know how to do something with their hands still had a job during COVID. If you were a plumber or whatever, those people had a job. So, but I want to just tell about, we got about 2 more minutes and 3 more minutes. I know that in Jacksonville, the federal court said that jury rigging, what they tried to do to draw the lines was not correct and send it back to Jacksonville. And so last Friday, they did the same thing. They didn't make no changes, hardly any changes. No. So I guess that's going to go back to up again to the federal judge. And I mean, all this jury rigging and the voter suppression is really still going on. And it's still going on in Georgia. My granddaughter sent me something that she wrote about what's happening in Atlanta. Yeah, so.
Yes, it is. Because they done got, whoever heard of a governor also being the Secretary of State?
Yeah, well, but I heard something the other day about the Christian, about Falwell and all these people in the Southern Strategy. This has been going on for a while. That's why I call it psychological warfare.
And let me tell you, Trump, these powerful religious men, Trump had something on all of them. And that's why.
Yes, he did. And it was something on Falwell's son, him and his wife was something, and it's verified. They got the pictures. I mean, some people got the receipts on this, and so that's true. But just like the Russians got something on him, but so I'm glad that people had early voting, and I prayed it to win. Like my grandmother used to say, "Oh, hold the win, Lord, hold the win." So I'll be praying for y'all.
So next Monday, maybe I can come on your show and tell you how happy we are, how sad we are.
Okay, well, that's the deal. All right, Francis, just always caring for you in my hometown. I mean, I was raised by good people.
Y'all keep us in prayer. Y'all keep us in prayer because the St. John River has not gone. The water is still all the way almost up to First Street, and we about to get anywhere from 3 to 6
Okay, so that was from the last hurricane. Okay, all righty. Well, we'll be praying, Francis. Thank you so much for coming on. And hey, just we'll say hold the wind and the water. Take care.
Okay.
We're gonna take a break right now. You listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Alternative Talk 1150, the talk of the sound.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden, and this is my joy to be on there. I'm going to bring Mr. Rye on, and we're going to end with announcements about Mother's Justice Show and what's going on in Atlanta. How you doing, Mr. Rye?
Well, I'm doing better than I was doing earlier this afternoon, but I do want to say that everybody needs to vote. And then I heard that your last guest, I don't know if she was, I know Clarence Thomas is married to a white woman, but Art Fletcher was married to a sister named Bernice.
No, she wasn't talking about Art Fletcher.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure that was.
No, anyway, she was talking about what had happened after that, because I was saying that we have to educate our people again, and that's what this is about, is education, and that.
Well, one of the things we're working on is the economic justice thing. And last Thursday, at the Washington chapter of the National Association of Minority Contractors, we had the first ever Undersecretary of Commerce for the Minority Business Development Administration. And the issues we're talking about, having everybody lumped into one pool, he says his mission is specifically to help develop minority businesses. They have an office in Tacoma, and a friend, Frank Boykin, is the director of the office in Tacoma. I do want to say that I've been hearing a lot about this red wave, and I just can't imagine all the women that were so upset about not having control of their body flipping on this. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but they'd be lying. See, well, Francis and I was talking about that. The posters actually are in somebody else's pocket. And when they tell you about who the other people are leading, that's to make sure that you don't go vote. Because Francis said that somebody at her church yesterday said, well, it don't make sense to go vote because DeSantis is going to go. That's what they're going to win. That's what the poll said. And Francis said, no, you need to vote. And see, that's what this is about. See, they might be so surprised at the on Wednesday morning. See.
I kind of think so because I think, when you really look at, as a matter of fact, the Republicans haven't offered any solutions. They've been highlighting.
No, they
problems.
never have. They do hot button issues is all. They don't do anything about bread and butter.
Exactly, and they don't have any plans. That's the other thing. There are absolutely no plans. And Trump said he's going to run again. So you guys are really right. This country is headed for fascism. I mean, that's exactly the direction we're going in.
It is. But, Hitler also patented what he was doing after America, segregation. I mean, because you got to have an enemy. And also South Africa got apartheid idea from segregation of America. So some of this stuff that we see in the world came from us, came from America. And how they treated the Negro. How did they treat the Negro, not people of color, the Negro. See?
Well, I mean, that's when you look at the history of this country, that's who was kicking all the doors in. And then we got punished for creating the minority business programs. The black folks that kick the door into the ones that get punished. As a matter of fact, the National Association of Minority Contractors was founded in Oakland, and one of the founders, had an office on 21st and Union with Willie Allen. It was called the JDA Consultant Group, and he's passed away. But they formed the National Association of Minority Contractors in Oakland a year after the Black Panthers, and they worked closely with Seattle like the Panthers did. And then Ron Dellums, when he got elected, he took it national. So it became a national organization. And locally here, the last year or so, the thing was kind of drifting away because other people were involved. They had a president who was from Portland, Oregon. I couldn't understand that. We have qualified people, but now we have Barb Armstead. The three co-founders went back. It's a historical black organization. And I know the people that started. I'm not going to let it flounder. So we made some inroads into Washington, D.C., and like you and your guests are right, you are especially right, we have to keep organizing. We can't stop organizing, and we can't stop demanding our fair share. So,
but what we were talking about, that black people stopped organizing when they got good jobs. We've been organizing before the end of slavery for freedom. And then we stopped organizing, and the GOP went and got the evangelicals with hot button issues about abortion and gay issues and schools. And they've been organizing now for almost 40 years. And we have not organized successfully, continuously for 40 years. They have. That's why they're at this point right now. And we have to understand that every decade, you don't stop, you just hand it off to other people who's willing to stay in it. Because nothing is permanent in this society. Because the Supreme Court is nothing permanent. You can get it changed, okay? And that's what they're showing us.
No question about it. And I certainly hope that the Democrats take the kind of control they need. They expand the Supreme Court to 12 members, and Clarence Thomas should be ashamed of himself. Everything he got was through affirmative action.
You know what? He doesn't care.
EEOC.
No, he doesn't care.
He was having his confirmation hearing now about what he did to Anita Hill. He wouldn't make it. No, he wouldn't make it. But he's complicit, and the Supreme Court has been corrupt before. We need to be students of history. The Burger Code, and after they brought on Thurgood Marshall, they had a shift with the Burger Code. But it's been corrupt before because it kept the Negroes down and out. So, Mr. Ryan, I'm going to have to leave in a minute, but I want to just announce and invite everybody to the Mother's Justice Breakfast November 10th at 7 a.m., please. That's Thursday morning at the Royal Esquire Club. It's 5016 Rainer Avenue South. For tickets information, please call 253-237-2013. Our awardee is A. Philip Randolph Institute Volunteer of the Year, and our Attorney of the Year is Ed Galando. He's a marvelous attorney. Our speaker is a retired Judge Judah Hightower. Come out and support us. Come out and support this annual event. We just mothers who don't know how to go home. We just keep doing the work, just like Mr. Rye. You got to have somebody who's staying. You got to be in it to win it. Huh? Where can people send donations to mothers?
Oh, God, they could go to our website, Our website is Mothers, SO Mothers for Police Accountability.org, and that's a place they have a donation button on our website.
Okay, Reverend Harriett, keep up the good work.
All right, you listen to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host. We'll be back next week. Vote like your life depended on it, because it does. That's correct. But vote. Thank you so much. Have a good week. Stay dry.